Good morning, first grade. How are you? It is writing and it is Wednesday, and I feel like it's been a long time since we wrote with our long weekend. So I hope you had a great 3-day weekend. But today we're going to talk about how to write a satisfying ending for our readers, giving fulfillment and pleasure. We know writers learn how to get their character out of trouble. And as a reader, we love to know what happens to the character at the end of the story. So today we're going to focus on our satisfying endings. I'm going to go back to my story about Gretchen that I started the other day, and I added a little bit more to it. So I'm going to read what I wrote last week. I added a little bit more, and then we're going to talk about a satisfying ending, okay? Gretchen heard a noise. Peep, peep, caw, peep, peep, caw. What is that, she thought. And also, we're going to focus on dialogue today. Dialogue is what the character says that we put in the quotation marks. That word was down here that you saw a second ago, but now the bar came. But we're going to be talking about that a little bit today, too. She crouched by the path. It was a fierce bird. Gretchen felt afraid. I'll be brave, she thought. She scooped up the bird in her sweater. Gretchen hid her head in her hands. Crack! She was cold. So as you can see, there's going to be a storm happening. Looks like some thunder and lightning happening in the sky. So I'm going to read an ending that I wrote, and I want you to think about, as I'm reading it, is this a satisfying ending? Like, is this making you happy as a reader to hear this as your ending? So I'm going to look over here at what I wrote. Lightning flashed. Gretchen trembled. Mommy, she yelled. No one came. Then suddenly, a bigger flash and crack. So readers, right now, I want you to give me either a thumbs up or a thumbs down if that was a satisfying ending. And I can see right now a lot of you are giving me a thumbs down. You want to know more about what the character, and I think that's a good idea. That wasn't a great ending at all. Just sort of was like, okay, now what? What happened? So fiction writers get their characters out of trouble. Some other things that we can do is we can add dialogue, action, and feelings to that. So let me show you this right now. I'm going to go down here. Let me put this a little bit bigger. And I guess I can't, oopsie daisy. Okay, so fiction writers get their characters out of trouble. So let's look at this next few steps I put. Let's see if this would be more of a satisfying ending. Gretchen hid her head in her hands. Crack! She was wet and cold, and then the storm passed. Gretchen's mom yelled, Gretchen, come inside and get dry. I made hot chocolate. So right there we have some dialogue. Sometimes having another person in the story helps move it along. So you might have that in your story. You might have another character. And I know a few of you have been writing it. I have seen some of the characters. So you might have someone else speaking in that with the dialogue. So Gretchen climbed down the treehouse. So there's our action right there. We have a little bit of action. She felt safe at last. So that's putting our feelings into that, how she felt. Okay. So let's see. So we have a little dialogue. We've got our action. We have our feelings. Does that sound more of a satisfying ending than just saying, then suddenly she heard a flash and a crack and that was it? Like, what happened to her? We don't know what happened. She was in the treehouse. So I'm going to go back and we're going to continue here. Okay, so let's see how this wraps up. Gretchen hid her head in her hands. Crack! She was cold. Then the storm passed. Gretchen's mom yelled, Gretchen, come inside and get dry. I made hot chocolate. Gretchen climbed down the treehouse. She felt safe at last. Okay, so today, boys and girls, you're going to go off and you're going to work on your satisfying ending for your character. Some of you you might still be at the start, and that's okay. Okay, we have this, we're going to still continue working on this today and tomorrow, and then next week share. So I want you to have fun, make some satisfying endings. I can't wait to hear your stories. I know Mrs. Felsman and myself have been talking, and we're so proud of you. So keep up the great work. And I will see you on Friday. Bye, boys and girls.